Wars do not always change direction with dramatic announcements or sudden breakthroughs. More often, the balance shifts quietly, through pressure applied across multiple fronts, until defensive lines no longer bend but begin to break. According to Russian official and state-linked sources, the war has entered a decisive phase across two key axes, Zaporizhzhia in the south and Kharkiv in the northeast. What we are seeing now, they claim, is not a series of isolated clashes, but a coordinated, methodical expansion designed to collapse Ukraine's operational depth after Donetsk. And at the center of this phase lies one name that keeps appearing in Russian briefings: Huliaipole. Russian state media, Kremlin-linked outlets, and military briefings claim that more than 50% of Huliaipole in Zaporizhzhia Oblast has been taken under Russian control. The operation is presented not as a symbolic capture, but as a textbook example of modern combined arms warfare. Russian military grouping Vostok, East, is reported to be advancing westward, capturing settlements one after another and pushing Ukrainian forces out of prepared defensive positions. The assault on Huliaipole reportedly unfolded from three directions simultaneously, denying Ukrainian forces the ability to concentrate reserves or stabilize a single defensive line. From the north, Russian units pushed through outer approaches, forcing Ukrainian defenders to abandon trenches and fortified positions under sustained artillery fire. From the east, constant pressure was applied to prevent Ukrainian units from regrouping, with drone-guided artillery strikes targeting movement routes and firing points. From the south, Russian assault groups advanced steadily, engaging Ukrainian forces and closing in toward the town center. Russian sources claim that fighting is now ongoing inside central Huliaipole, with Russian troops expanding their control zone block by block. The emphasis in Russian reporting is on attrition rather than speed, exhausting defenders before decisive advances. The scale of firepower used is repeatedly highlighted. Hundreds of kamikaze drones were allegedly deployed to suppress infantry positions and destroy equipment. Thousands of artillery and rocket salvos were fired, saturating Ukrainian defensive lines. Dozens, and in some reports over 100, guided aerial bombs were used against hardened positions, logistics hubs, and command nodes. Airstrikes and missile strikes reportedly continued throughout the operation, ensuring that Ukrainian forces faced constant pressure not only at the front, but also in their rear areas. Huliaipole was not just another settlement on the map. For Ukrainian forces, it functioned as a critical lifeline in southern Ukraine. It connected defensive positions between southern Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia, served as a logistics relay point for ammunition and reinforcements, and anchored a broader defensive network designed to slow or stop Russian westward movement. Russian military analysts argue that once Huliaipole is compromised, Ukrainian defenses in southern Zaporizhzhia lose their internal cohesion. Supply routes become longer and more exposed, reserve movements are disrupted, and defensive lines further west become increasingly vulnerable. In Russian framing, Huliaipole's loss opens a gateway, not only toward forward Ukrainian cities, but toward deeper operational objectives, including the approaches to Zaporizhzhia city itself. While pressure mounted in the south, developments in Kharkiv Oblast followed a similar pattern. A few days ago, Russia's Ministry of Defense announced the liberation of Kuryliivka. According to official statements, the operation was conducted by units of the Russian armed forces operating under the northern Kharkiv grouping. Kuryliivka's importance lies in its proximity to Kupyansk, a major logistical and transport hub for Ukrainian forces in northeastern Ukraine. Russian sources claim that near Kupyansk, units of the West troop grouping continue to destroy Ukrainian formations that are either surrounded or trapped on the left bank of the Oskol River. The capture of Kurylivka is presented as another step in tightening the operational noose around Ukrainian forces in the region. Russian briefings consistently describe a structured, phased approach. First comes intensive artillery and MLRS preparation, aimed at suppressing Ukrainian firing points, fortifications, and reserve concentrations. This is followed by extensive drone operations, with reconnaissance UAVs identifying targets and correcting fire, while FPV strike drones hit vehicles, trenches, and strongpoints. Aviation then plays a decisive role, with airstrikes against Ukrainian defensive nodes and the use of guided munitions often referred to as high-precision weapons. Only after this layered fire assault do ground assault groups move in. Infantry units advance cautiously, securing buildings, roads, and surrounding terrain, followed by consolidation to repel counterattacks and prepare for further advances. Russian sources emphasize that consolidation is critical. Territory is not merely entered, but systematically secured. Kuryliivka lies within the wider Kupyansk axis, an area that has long served as a logistical backbone for Ukrainian forces operating in eastern Kharkiv Oblast. From this zone, Ukrainian units were able to move personnel, ammunition, and equipment along the Oskol River line while maintaining pressure on Russian positions. Russian sources claim that by taking Kuryliivka, their forces have disrupted these supply and movement corridors, placing additional strain on Ukrainian units already under pressure near Kupyansk. Further north, developments around Volchansk highlight the growing pressure across Kharkiv Oblast. As of 19th of December, Russian official and state-linked sources claim that Russian forces expanded their control zones south of Volchansk, liberating around 6 square kilometers. These gains are described as part of a deliberate effort to widen Russian-held territory rather than achieve a rapid breakthrough. According to Russian statements, Ukrainian units were forced to retreat from selected positions after sustained pressure involving drone reconnaissance and strike operations, heavy artillery salvos, and repeated glide bomb strikes against fortified areas. Russian sources stress that this combination of firepower limited Ukraine's ability to hold fixed defenses or mount effective counterattacks. The fighting in this sector remains intense and ongoing, with Russian forces focusing on securing surrounding terrain and key approaches rather than rushing the town itself. In Russian analysis, continued expansion around Volchansk increases pressure on the entire northern Kharkiv front, stretching Ukrainian reserves and further weakening defensive stability in the region. Russian analysts increasingly frame these operations as part of a broader strategic sequence. With Donetsk Oblast described as nearing complete control, attention shifts naturally to Zaporizhzhia and Kharkiv. These regions are not treated as isolated fronts, but as interconnected components of a single operational design. In this narrative, once Donetsk falls entirely, Ukrainian forces lose a major industrial, logistical, and defensive backbone. Zaporizhzhia, already weakened by the loss of Huliaipole, becomes increasingly exposed. Kharkiv Oblast, under pressure around Kupyansk and Volchansk, faces gradual fragmentation of its defensive lines. Russian commentators argue that Ukraine's ability to hold these regions diminishes as reserves are stretched thin and supply lines come under constant attack. Until now, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.